Good evening. Welcome to your best 5 minutes of the week. This is 5 happy minutes. Getting to be a little regular on Thursday with the draft last week. I'm Roger Tiller, owner of the Strogmatia Cheats. And in case you didn't know, the past 3 days, I've gotten crab legs for free every single day. Coincidence? Maybe, maybe not. I got Jason Ferguson is here. A little alpha dog.
Hi, everybody.
Are you done with the dishes?
No, I'll take a break from the dishes.
You deserve it. Have a glass of wine. There you go. And Andy, who does not have a logo because he's on his phone and I can't put one on otherwise, but that's all right.
I'm on a computer.
Oh, you are on the computer. Okay. Well, you have to turn it on, but if you don't have it on, that's all right. Everybody knows who you are.
Yeah. Oh, Matadors! My wife's getting a kick out of that.
Yeah, I'll bet she is.
Say hi, Jen.
Hi, Jen.
Hey.
She really likes football.
Yeah, I'll bet. So tonight should be a short show, especially because at least, recorders of the league is too busy to come on the show, even though everybody liked the idea of a around the league segment again. But the main thing I wanted to do is just kind of put to bed and put to rest the draft. Finished up here a few days ago, I think Monday. I made the final pick. So draft is over. Everybody's put in their 2 cents on the league page. But we were just talking a little bit about it. What's that?
I haven't given any opinion.
Well, okay. Well, what's your opinion?
Oh, I have no opinion. I wasn't in the draft. I didn't care too much. I'm still excited about a few of the free agents, rookie free agents. So that's all I can really afford anyway. So
okay. I would. I only have last year's rookie. Well, I guess this is only the second rookie draft we've had in the league, even though this is the start of my second year. There was no rookie draft the first year because everybody was a free agent. But taking a look at it, it seems without actually. Well, I guess I could pull up the spreadsheet right here and look at it. But I think we had less members of the league involved in this draft than last year. I think what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it looks like we had 8 members of the league. So 4 guys didn't take part last year, and I don't know, we're at maybe 7 this year. So maybe not as big of a difference as I thought, but 6 or 7 this year. But yeah, there are definitely a significant amount of guys not taking part in the draft, and kind of just checked out. Which I don't blame you. If I wasn't in it, I don't know that I would have been that into following it because it wouldn't have had a lot of input to give. But so Andy, from the outside looking in, you didn't really care one way or the other. Didn't see any winners or losers.
I mean, I think Mike had a good draft. He gave up a lot to get in his spots. I don't necessarily agree with his stance attacking Roger the way he did.
Thank you.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with a plethora of wide receivers. You can play up to 5 per week. And the bottom end of your wide receivers prior to the draft wasn't that great. And I can see you playing 2 or 3 guys that you drafted on a week-by-week basis. So I don't understand why Mike went at you so hard, especially with the stats Eric has thrown out on wide receiver draft position and whatnot. And there wasn't really a surefire running back to take lower in the draft there. So.
No, and I think his point was I could have gone Gordon 2, and then I could have gotten Aguilar, assuming he was still available, which he was, at 9 when I went there, and I could have. But I mean, he is right. I mean, to not to say that he's has no reason for his opinion, but I mean, my running back situation was bad before the draft. It's still bad, but in my opinion, the trade with him to get Macklin and Bennett, I already had Cameron at tight end, so now I have 2 decent tight ends, given Cameron doesn't get hurt. And, I have, like you said, I've shored up my wide receivers. I'm happy with that. I said, from the get-go that if Gurley was available at 2, I would have taken him. So my draft would have looked a lot different.
Right.
I would have taken Gurley. But, and because I have 2 decent tight ends, I could do with a little less in the wide receiver area because I could start 2 tight ends, in that flex spot. But now I have enough tight ends that if I want to, I can start 5 in a week and be very happy with that. So, so I'm content.
just kind of putting thought into Lori's draft. I knew of his and Jason's trade before it actually happened, and I wonder if Derek was assuming a wide receiver would have been there at 4 when he made the trade. I see Gordon as that was the plan, Jason.
On his end, yeah, I think he was thinking that Cooper would be there at 4.
Yeah.
And I mentioned to him, maybe you should take Cooper at 1 because that'll guarantee, in my eyes, that you'll get a running back at 4, and then you can get one each. I kind of thought it might happen the way it did. And obviously, it did. He's got 2 running backs, which he's not unhappy with, but I think it would have worked a little bit better for him if he took one of those wide receivers at 1.
You're right.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of it that way, but yeah, if knowing what I knew, because I was in the mix there, if he had gone, let's say, Cooper at 1, and let's say I stuck with White, because if I didn't take White, Mike was going to take him. And that's not why I took him, but just knowing what Mike's plan was, White was going to go at 3 if he wasn't gone beforehand. So let's say I took Gurley at 2. So then you've got Cooper, Gurley, well then White goes at 3, and like Jason says, then Gordon's available at 4 still. But you've got your wide receiver and your running back. But he gave his reasons for not passing on Gurley because he really wanted him. I think he figured he could get Gurley, and that I would go Gordon, and then Mike would take White because I needed running back help. But just didn't turn out that way. But like I said, he still ended up good. He ended up with 2 good running backs. One who's going to be out for the first chunk of the season, but should definitely be a good long-term guy for him.
Hypothetically, had Derek taken Cooper 1 and then you taken Kevin White 2nd, according to Mike's logic, he would have then had to take Devontae Parker because he was already set at running back, right? That's what he says to you.
Well, and
I'm just speaking out of the side of my mouth.
Yeah, my plan was to go Gurley then White. So if I stick to that plan, then I would have gone Gurley at 2.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done, and that would have left, then if he went Cooper at 1, that would have left White, Gordon, and White or Gordon for Mike. And he says he would have taken White. He says he didn't need him, but he would have taken him if he was available, which I think sounds about right because he ended up going Cooper.
Mm-hmm. I see Yeldon being a possible Bishop Sankey candidate this year. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
See how things shake out. There's still a lot of talent in rookie free agency. I'm excited to attempt to get a couple of those guys. But yeah, still a long off season.
Yeah. Jason.
Mike's team. I made an observation.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just saying I was making an observation with Mike's team in the league that shall not be mentioned is almost identical to your team in D2, Roger, and he's got the 3 pick in that league too. So I'm curious if he takes a wide receiver, already having like 3 quarterbacks and like a plethora of wide receivers. He's got 1 viable running back in that league. So I'll keep you updated as to what he does in that league, so you can potentially give him a lot of grief back. For doing exactly what he berated you for.
Yeah, because I see myself taking Gurley, and then Chris potentially could take Gordon. We'll see what Chris Molesky does, and yeah.
So that's the other league. So why don't we move on to some of the other.
Who's running the show here, Jason or Roger?
He's got the wine, so it must be him. But no, we will move on. Mike, the commish, had put out a document here right at the end of the draft. I think it was right before the end, maybe, about some league topics that he wanted discussed at the draft. A lot of this had come from previous conversations, so I thought, hey, let's throw a couple of these out here, just talk about them for 5 or 10 minutes, and kind of get the ball rolling. A few members of the league, now that the draft is over, saying, we've got 2 months until the auction. What are we going to do? Let's hammer some of this out. And they didn't show up tonight. So see how important it is to them. But anyway, we'll start from the top, and if we just make it through 2 or 3, that's fine. The first thing he talked about, which this has been talked about almost as much as the second round of the rookie draft, and it was voted on and it was knocked down, but he still wants to talk about it, bet was moving the free agent draft or portions of it to earlier in our season to mirror the NFL. Mike and Eric are going to take the pros to that, why we should do it, and then anyone against it, and in parentheses, Roger, as to why we shouldn't do it, anybody against it. So I'll let you guys take, if you guys want to give any 2 cents on that, go ahead.
I'm not totally against a possible change with anything there, but I just look at some of the members of our league, and they enjoy the off season. They enjoy the break. They don't desire to be active 12 months out of the year. And I mean, I can kind of respect that. Is that a good reason not to? I mean, I would vote in favor of a possible change, but I mean, it's not for everybody in our league, you know.
Oh, with the rookie draft being pushed up, I think that if we did do some kind of free agent auction, like the top 10 or whatever it is, maybe preceding the rookie draft, it didn't take the full 12 days like it could have. It went pretty quick. It started on Thursday, and it was done by Sunday.
Monday.
Or Monday.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it went really fast, and if we did that again with some free agents, I think it would prolong the process, and it's not going to take all summer long. It's going to be a couple of weeks max to do that. The select free agents and then the rookie draft, and you're done in like a week and a half, 2 weeks tops. I thought the rookie draft was fun, and I wouldn't mind putting some of those free agents available before the rookie draft.
Yeah, I think I've said this. I said it before we did the vote. I said it after we did the vote. I think I said it 2 weeks ago when somebody brought it up again and said, why doesn't anybody want this? My biggest reason, one of the things that I like about this league, number one, is the participation, which is being a dynasty, almost a year-round league. The participation is, tenfold over a redraft league that I've been in for 13 years. And I like that. And that was part of the reason that I got into it. The other part was because I could tell that even if it wasn't everybody, a significant amount of the people would get together every once in a while throughout the year, whether it was during football season or otherwise. So to me, one of the big draws was the free agent auction. Everybody gets together 2, 3, 3.5 hours, whatever it is, and you're there. It's exciting. It's fun. Everybody gets together. You get to see some of the guys that you otherwise don't see the rest of the year. And to me, if you take some of the top free agents, whether it's 6, 10, or 12, whatever the number is, and do that online, whether it's before the rookie draft or after the rookie draft or whenever, you're just taking away some of what I consider to be the excitement of getting everybody together. And it probably wouldn't happen, but I think you increase the probability that maybe 1 or 2 guys are like, you know what, after that, I don't really need to show up to the auction because I had a couple rookie draft picks. I picked up somebody in free agency. My team is pretty well set, so I'm not going to show up. So then you get guys, it makes it more difficult to get people together numerous times a year. So if you have this one auction with everybody's together, and it's more of a reason to get there because you have to show up to this auction to get some of these guys. But if you start doing more of it online, I mean, it wasn't the case when I was in the league, but the year prior, I mean, everybody was done in person, I believe, rookies and all the free agents. And so we were already doing that online. To do more of it online and spread it out. I'm not against spreading it out to cover more of the dead time of the season, but I'm against it because, I'm in favor of moving the whole thing and still doing it in person, but breaking it up and doing more of it online unless if it in person doesn't really interest me because it takes away some of the one-on-one, the in-person interaction that I enjoy.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. The live auction, when we all get together, is my favorite time of the year.
Yeah, definitely.
For anything fantasy. I think one option that I've went through my head is moving the whole free agency to a couple weeks before the draft, and then we do the rookie draft, and then after that, people would have saved money, and then there'd be like a rookie free agency for all those that weren't drafted, which I think could be done online because there's a minimal amount of players there, and then you just kind of wait until the football season starts. That's something I've thought about that would work, but I just don't want to break up the free agency to just 12 guys before the draft and then wait. I just want it all done all at once, personally.
Yeah, I guess I didn't think about the aspect, if we did some beforehand where you'd have to figure out a way to be able to, I guess, bid on them online, which could be a pain in the butt. And I'm for, I guess, keeping things simple and not complicating things for the sake of complicating things. So I guess with that in mind, I'd probably now lean towards just keeping it all together. I don't think it's worth it to break it up.
Yeah, and I think to Andy's point, something I hadn't thought about before is that there are some guys in the league. I mean, I know some people kind of gripe, oh, not everybody participates, huge, but I mean, everybody, they do their part, and some guys just don't want to be in a 12-month league, and I don't think there was anything stated beforehand that, hey, this is going to be a 12-month league. Early on, the rules that were handed out to people, it said, hey, we're going to draft in, the summer, we're going to have the free agent auction right after, and then we're going to start the season. So yeah, I think that's a good point too. We'll hit one more point on here, and then we'll close things out. I'm going to skip over number 2 on Mike's document because this is just a can of worms. I think it needs to be discussed in person, so I'm looking forward to that. But it has to do with the rookie draft and a second round and all that. I'm going to jump down to something that doesn't get talked about a whole lot, and I flip-flop on it myself, but it has to do with a hard cap. Right now, we have a $500 salary cap in our league. But that's quote-unquote soft cap because you can trade for guys that put you over that technically, but you can get money sent to you. And so I think there's just been some talk that, we could have a $500 soft cap, but let's make it a $550 or a $600 hard cap so that you just can't go over that in any way, which would affect some money getting shifted around and stop guys from piling on a whole bunch of guys in one season to play for 1 year and then just try and regroup their whole team the next year. Where do you fall on that, Jason? Do you really care, or do you think it's an important issue?
I've thought about it a little bit, and I do think that there's some validity to putting a hard cap in place. I think Eric, I don't know how much over he is right now with how much actual money he's got to spend, like wrapped up in players and actual cap space. It's like, I think it's approaching $200 that he has additional this year, and I think that it's a bit much, and I'm not just saying that because I'm negative 250. I do think that there is some validity to putting a hard cap in place, and I can see why.
Andy,
what are your thoughts?
It's all strategy. I mean, people make trades based on, am I playing for now? Am I playing for the future? I mean, I forget how much salary I'm playing with this year. I mean, I lost AP, so I think I'm going to be playing with around $380 worth of salary. I'm still feeling an all right team, but I mean, it just comes down to each person's strategy. I don't like the idea of a hard cap. I mean, I played year to year for the most part, so I don't see. I mean, I see people's points, but I'm not in favor of a hard cap.
It doesn't have to be like if $500 is your hard cap. It could be $600 or something.
Oh no, yeah.
Which is still fine. But I think Scott mentioned, it's like it's not really fun when you've got teams like half the league's playing for it and half the league's not playing for it. And I think a hard cap might instill some more parity in the league, which I know people talked about. I think people would like to see more of it, and we've created some rules that help address that issue, and I think this would even further that, helping to address that issue.
Yeah, looking right now, I was looking at the current rosters. Right now, granted, we have to go through free agency, so that's going to change a lot of things. Taking a look at everybody's current salary of the players on the roster, not taking into account any, cap adjustments. There are only, got a quick flip through here, my spreadsheet's moving slow, but I believe I got one more to look at to confirm this. Looks like Eric and Mike. Yes, Eric and Mike are the only players, the only teams right now sit over $400 of salary before the free agent. Eric is the only one over 500. He's at 563. Mike is the next closest. Mike's at 462. So I guess their argument, because I believe both Mike and Eric are against a hard cap, depending on what it is, if I remember right, but they would say, hey, you know what? We made the playoffs last year. We made the playoffs the year before. Probably going to make the playoffs this year. So what we're doing is working. Maybe you can't argue with that. Where everybody else, like I said, the next highest after Mike, I don't know exactly who it is, but I think it's around $370 or $380. From Eric to Mike, first and second, there's $101 of difference in their actual salary right now, and then it's almost another $80 or $100 down to the third place, and then it's bunched in. There's a handful of guys in the 300s. Jason obviously is the caboose in this train with $109 in total salary. But so like I said, I flip-flop on it. I think it would make it interesting to do it. I don't think it's as much. I don't think having it is so much a reason is caused by needing more parity or making things more fair. I think it just adds a level of interest. If you have a hard cap, then midway through a season or during an off season, there are some really difficult decisions to make for a team on whether they drop somebody. It's harder to trade those bad contracts. You're going to actually have to eat that contract, which obviously is a negative for that team, but it makes it more interesting because to this point, I've made this comment many times to people I've been talking to about trades, or even, when it comes free agent time of who I'm going to bid on for running back and how much. It's possible so far, it's been possible to trade any bad contract in this league. And having a hard cap would stop that. Does that mean I'm completely in favor of it? Not necessarily, but it interests me to do that because if you make somebody actually have to cut a player that a lot of people want to pick up instead of trading with them, you're better off, I think, because it makes you a little more careful with how you spend your money, and then there's actually there's a downside to signing a guy to a bad contract or having it turn into a bad contract when you can't just trade him.
Maybe a hard cap would be a little more NFL-like. A hard cap. I don't know. But there would be less trading, which would be more NFL-like. There
would be less lopsided trading.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, where somebody just takes on a Darren McFadden contract. There are guys who I think a lot of us, he's you're not going to be able to trade that guy, and then all of a sudden you trade him, and you think, how did you do it? Now, it doesn't mean that those trades would go away because some guys who maybe don't see that as a bad trade would still make the deal. So you might not get rid of horrible trades altogether. And I don't think the reason for this is to cut down on trades, and I would hope it wouldn't cut down on them immensely where it would take a lot of fun out of it. I think it takes trades down a little and then brings a whole element of cutting guys because really, I mean, the guys who get cut in this league from the limited time I've been here, it's not anything earth-shattering. And to see somebody have to cut a guy and eat a big contract or cut somebody that is going to turn right around and get picked up. What's that?
I cut Adrian Peterson. That was shattering.
Well, it was, yeah, but that was an extenuating circumstance. He was...
He's a child beater. I hate him. I hate him.
Well, apparently Minnesota shares your feelings.
Yeah.
So... All right, well, like I said, I think there were eight different points on that document for later this summer. We only did 2 of them. I don't think we need to jump into all of them, but wanted to have a little bit of time to I think Andy just hit a button. I'm not sure what he did. But anyway.
I have no idea what I did.
Capturing our images.
But he said he was getting a picture of his belly while he was getting a drink. I don't know. Anyway, all right. Well, thank you guys very much for being on here. Not as big of a crowd, but I think this was good. This was good talking, and I don't think we've ever had just Jason and Andy on the show before. So
hey, that's a first.
It's always nice to mix it up. And
good dialogue, fellas.
Definitely. All right. Well, thank you again, guys. Thanks everybody for watching, whether you're watching now or later, and hope you enjoyed your 5 best minutes of the week. And we'll be back sometime next week, probably. I don't know. There's probably some trades that we could have talked about. There were plenty of trades happening during the draft, but everybody knows about those. Those have been talked about enough. So, all right, have a good evening.
See you, Derek.
Enjoy your night.
Thanks for watching.
All right, see you guys.